Welcome in, everybody, to the Farzy Show here on a beautiful Victory Monday here at the Steven Singer Studios, with the Eagles starting out their season with a 32-6 victory. 32-6. Just hold on. Let's bask in that for a second. 32-6 victory over the Atlanta Falcons in the first game of the Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts era. I honestly couldn't be more excited. Now, I did predict them to win. I did. I predicted them to win. I have to say, if you thought this game was going to be a blowout in favor of the Philadelphia Eagles, congratulations, you're the smartest person in the office today. Here's the next thing for you. Look how excited the Eagles were. This is courtesy of Greg Ward's Instagram account after the game. Look how pumped these guys are. Now, you might say that, oh, come on, guys, it's 1 week. It's week one. You can't be that excited about it. You're damn right you could be this excited about it, as a matter of fact. It's the first game with a new head coach, with a new regular starting quarterback, certainly not a rookie. Jalen Hurts, certainly not a rookie. We all know that. But it's the first win of a new era. That's exactly how you want to start off a season and a new era of Eagles football. This was confidence from the get-go. And I know when we were all watching that first drive by the Atlanta Falcons, we're watching them march down the football field. The whole time I'm thinking, wasn't the defensive line supposed to be the star of the show, especially when it came to this defense? And you're seeing them getting blown off the ball time and time again as you see Mike Davis continue just to march down the football field. And then you see these cutback runs, and they're just moving down the field, 75 yards, 14 plays on that opening drive for the Atlanta Falcons. But what happened? There's two things that I was saying to myself. One, defensive line, hello? Nice, be nice. Where are you at? And then, bang, Brandon Graham stepped up, made a big play on that opening drive. Then you see Javon Hargrave put the center for the Atlanta Falcons on roller skates, pushing them back into Matt Ryan to make sure that their third down and third and goal play stalled, and you saw them break up that play. So the second thing I was thinking was bend, but don't break. Every single time I think of that, I think of Jim Johnson, because that was the basis of his defense, other than blitzing, of course, being aggressive. Bend, but don't break. 2 field goals. 2 field goals. 2 field goals is what you allow. Now, were there a couple of plays that I'm sure the Falcons themselves would like to have back? Of course, but the bottom line is your offense put up 30-plus points. Your defense did not allow double digits in points. That is one hell of an opening day. And I know that there were penalties. I know that there were issues. There were definitely things that the Eagles have to clean up. And when you talk about the 12 penalties in this game, that's more penalties than the Eagles have had in their last 2 opening games in the last 2 seasons. More penalties in this one opening game than there were in the last 2 combined. And keep in mind, last year you didn't have a preseason even. You had 3 penalties. So that's something that will obviously be addressed. They'll look at the film. They'll try to get better at that. And there was a couple of things that stuck out to me from Nick Sirianni that we'll get to later. We're going to hear from Nick Sirianni. We're going to hear from Lane Johnson. We're going to hear from Brandon Graham. We're going to hear from DeVonta Smith, who had his first touchdown. First catch in the NFL, touchdown. Not too bad. Speaking of not a bad way to start, I could not have been more thrilled with the way this game went. And you also know that the things were working out for the Philadelphia Eagles when the first question by John McMullen in the press conference afterwards was, so could this have gone any better for you? I wouldn't have expected the less than double digits allowed. I would not have expected 30-plus points. 30-plus points in the NFL, whatever. It seems like not that big a deal. But for this team to do it in the first year with all these guys together, yeah, it's a big deal. But to expect what you saw yesterday was nothing short of spectacular and quite frankly, amazing. And to hear that first question in the press conference, like, wow, I wouldn't have predicted that would have been the first question and after game 1 of Nick Sirianni. But it was just wild to watch this game from start to finish and just listen to how these guys were talking after the game, the confidence that they were feeling. It was great. One thing we're going to do throughout football season is the Farzy 5. All right, after every single game, we're going to talk about 5 people or 5 things that really stuck out to me in these games. That's how we're going to open the show. Now, on a game like this, I get to be happy. I get to be positive. I don't have to call 5 different people out for being terrible at their job. I get to call 5 people out for being great at their job. So let's applaud these guys right now. Let's start it off with Jonathan Gannon. And I'll tell you why we're going to start off with Jonathan Gannon. Because as I mentioned before, you talk about that defensive line allowing over 100 yards. That defense in total allowed over 100 yards in the first half alone on the ground. Come on, man. What? Especially when you talked about Fletcher Cox, you talked about Brandon Graham, you talked about Javon Hargrave, you talked about all the guys on this defensive line that were supposed to step up and make big plays for you. The only consistent defensive lineman from start to finish of this game was Javon Hargrave. The reason that the Eagles were able to keep on this team and stay on top of this team in the Atlanta Falcons was the second half adjustments made by Jonathan Gannon. No question, Jonathan Gannon actually made second half adjustments that made sure that his defense stayed on top of things in that second half. What did they do? Now, they were running a lot of 3-4 scheme, which was a little bit of a surprise to me and a lot of people, considering you knew you were coming in with a 4-3 scheme. You see 3 down linemen in a lot of cases. Now, you continued to see that in the second half. But what you didn't see in the first half that you did see in the second half was 8 men in the box. You rarely saw that. And when that was available, Matt Ryan made sure he checked down in the first half. When it was available without 8 men in the box, he made sure he checked down to run plays with the 3 down linemen and made sure they were able to run it down the Eagles' throat. Second half, 8 men in the box. You weren't going to do that. Matt Ryan, also playing from behind, was forced to pass more, which actually played into the Eagles' strength because they were able to get pressure. Not a lot of sacks in this game. They certainly had them in the fourth quarter, but throughout the first 3 quarters, you didn't see a lot of sacks. You eventually saw that Javon Hargrave got 2. It was good to see them actually come out of this game with 3 sacks in total. Now, when you watch this game play out and you watch those second half adjustments, that's what you want to be able to hang your hat on, because in the first half of a game, we could all be feeling down, we could all be feeling low, but if you know you actually have a defensive coordinator or in some cases a play caller in Nick Sirianni actually being able to make second half adjustments, it kind of makes you feel like, all right, well, they'll get it at halftime. They don't have it right now, but at halftime, they'll go in there. Coaches will talk. The individual player groups will get together. The position groups will get together, and they'll right the ship. They'll make the proper adjustments, and that's what I saw from Jonathan Gannon going into the second half. So he's one of the guys that's on my 5. The next guy up, I got to talk about Javon Hargrave. This guy, for again, the way they started out this game. The way they started out this game was not a way that I thought this defensive line would start the game. But there was one defensive lineman that was able to get it done from start to finish, and that was Javon Hargrave. And I was happy that he got the numbers, the pretty numbers, you might say, talk about, the show-off muscles, right? Talk about the big pecs, talk about the big arms and all that stuff for the beach muscles, right? Those are what a lot of numbers are in sports. And there's no really better example of that than the sack. I mean, we always talk about, you're not getting sacks, you're not really getting the quarterback. No, you can get pressures, you can make uncomfortable throws, and even more so than his 2 sacks in this game, the biggest play to me, again, was on the 3rd end goal in the first quarter, where Javon Hargrave put the offensive lineman on roller skates with 3 down linemen, by the way. Derek Barnett dropped back into coverage and also helps break up the play. But Javon Hargrave is the guy that just one-on-one bull rushed the guy in front of him and created the pressure on Matt Ryan that forced an early throw to Mike Davis and forced also the incompletion with 2 guys in on the coverage as well. That's what I wanted to see the entire game for the entire defensive line. The one guy that brought it for all 4 quarters, not just the second half, Javon Hargrave. And he was one of the players that addressed the media after the game. Loved what I saw from Javon Hargrave. Number 3 on my list goes, without question, to DeVonta Smith. Not only did he catch his first catch as a touchdown reception in the NFL, the guy just oozed confidence. There were 4 straight plays where Jalen Hurts fed him. 4 straight plays, by the way, which was after a key block on a Miles Sanders run to the outside. DeVonta Smith, he's too skinny. Oh, DeVonta Smith, don't they feed this young man? What do they need to give him some pasta? Put on the pounds, my friend. DeVonta Smith goes out there, throws a big block, holds his block for Miles Sanders on a run that got him about 8 yards. It wasn't a huge run by any means, but it doesn't happen unless DeVonta Smith holds a run block on the outside. The next 4 plays after that, DeVonta Smith goes out there and catch 4 passes for 34 yards to help them march down the football field and get a score. That's what you want to see from this football team. That's what you want to see from a rookie like DeVonta Smith. What do we always talk about? We talked about it in the preseason. We talked about it with a lot of young players. Look like you belong. That's all we're asking for. Don't look skittish. Don't look like it's the first time you're playing amongst men. You're a little boy playing against men. No, he was a man playing amongst men. That's what you want to see from a guy like DeVonta Smith. And when I mentioned the confidence that he was dripping throughout this game, we'll let you hear from him in a second. DeVonta Smith after this game, hey, DeVonta, when did you know that you were going to score that touchdown? When I saw man coverage. Damn, son, give me chills. I love that confidence. And it's not cockiness. It's not arrogance. It's confidence. There's a fine line before it. I'll give you the fine line. Basically, here it is right now. Here's the fine line. The fine line is you win. It's confidence. You lose, oh, cocky and arrogant. That's the fine line. That's pretty much all it comes down to it. And they won the game, so it worked out for them. So DeVonta Smith's number 3 on my list. Number 2 on my list, pots and pans, Nick Sirianni. Look, the top 2 here for me. Nick Sirianni, let's go with number 2, but the top 2 have this in common. Nick Sirianni, he loses this game, or number 1, who I'm going to mention in a second, loses this game, all the doubt in the world manifests in the fan base. All the doubt in the world. Oh, Nick Sirianni can't coach. Nick Sirianni can't call plays. Nick Sirianni, I knew it from the opening press conference, his introductory press conference to the Eagles coach. Look, this guy sucks. He's too nervous, and he doesn't know what he's doing. But you win, and you call plays the way Nick Sirianni was calling plays with an extremely diverse skill set in every player out there, an extremely diverse setup, the way they were lining up, the way they called plays. Bubble screens to the outside, running backs out of the backfield. They had an exotic formation actually set up for themselves in the first quarter as well. And then after the game, after you score 32 points, what do you say? Oh, this is just the start of it. You'll hear from Lane Johnson in a second, who joined me on the postgame show. I'm doing live postgame show with Derek Gunn and Devin Caney and John McMullen, and Lane Johnson, who'll join the show after every week on Jacob Media Network and 6ABC.com. One of the things Lane Johnson said was, this is, like in the first half, we didn't even do half the stuff that we wanted to do in that first half. This is the tip of the iceberg and how creative this offense is going to be. And you saw not just trusting a rookie like DeVonta Smith, you saw Kenny Gainwell get trusted on more than one occasion in the red zone. You allowed that rookie to go out there and eat. Milton Williams, the defensive lineman, even had a tackle in this game, a rookie 6th-round pick for the Eagles. All that stuff was great. I believe it's a 6th-round pick. All that stuff was great to see, but it all starts with Nick Sirianni. And it all starts with Nick Sirianni and his ability to call plays. The first time ever, by the way, as a game planner and game caller, he goes out there and he calls an extremely diverse game plan, an extremely diverse game. And a lot of it came down to, as he said after the game, confidence in his quarterback. That's what he wanted in this game, confidence in his quarterback. And the way he was calling plays for Jalen Hurts certainly showed that confidence. It wasn't just coach speak after the game. You saw it in the game. The rollouts that he had, the passes downfield that he had, hitting Dallas Goedert the way he did in that end zone, finding rookies in this game. And I was just amazed. I was so pleasantly surprised by 2 of the coaches in this game. One who I mentioned at number 5, Jonathan Gannon, and the other I mentioned at number 2 right here in Nick Sirianni. Could not be more impressed, could not be more pleased with the way they started out this season. And number 1 on my list, if I have a number 1 game ball to give away, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts. This guy, everything I wanted to see from Jalen Hurts in this first game, I saw. And probably the most important thing, other than the escapability, the accuracy, athleticism, which obviously falls under escapability, was the muscle right here. How many times did we see Carson Wentz make the errant throw? Try to fight for the extra yard when he was scrambling, not go out of bounds, not slide, dive head first, whatever it might be. How many times did we see that with Carson Wentz? And I know I should be comparing him to anybody else, but that's the last guy we saw play quarterback for this football team, really, before Jalen Hurts came in at the end of last year. But you saw smart plays by Jalen Hurts. If he did scramble, he got down. He didn't take the big hit. If he was rolling, no better example than in the first half when he's rolling to his right on the first 4th down attempt and the play's a complete bust and he rolls hard to his right, can't evade the defender. And just before he went out of bounds, instead of either taking the sack or just running out of bounds and playing it safe, he chucked the ball downfield. If he doesn't do that, then shortly before the half, Jalen Hurts is right there at the 50-yard line going out of bounds, handing the ball to the Falcons on the 48, pretty much, is where he would have ran out of bounds if he didn't get rid of that football. Smart heads-up plays. If you're the quarterback and you're a young quarterback, just don't hurt your team. If you play smart and you play heads up, odds are you're not going to hurt your team. And there was one quote from Nick Sirianni. I thought he summed it up well. I wrote it down. Be better at the things that require no talent. And for me, that means be smart. Like, I know, obviously, your brain can be a party for talent. I get that. But be better at the things that take no talent. In other words, You listening, you watching, me speaking, all of us together, if we just went out on the football field, we should be able to do these things because they require no talent. Like no talent in the football world, that is. You and I are probably not going to be running 40s at 4.2 40s. That's probably not going to happen. But I think we should all know certain things like the basics of carrying the football in the arm that's closest to the side. Whoa, as my microphone freaks out. I almost fumbled my microphone there. That was some real stuff right there. But go and do those things that are the basics, fundamentals. Do the fundamentals. That's what that means. And Nick Sirianni's guys were going out there and for the most part doing it. The penalties, certainly not. False starts, whatever it might be. Holds, whatever it might be. Those are things that they need to improve upon in practice because why? Those are the things that require no talent. Those are the things that every football player at every level should be able to do. And that's what you saw for the most part from this Eagles team, minus the 12 penalties, which they need to clean up. But back to Jalen Hurts. I just can't get over the maturity I saw from him at quarterback. And this is the goal for Jalen Hurts. Obviously, the goal for Jalen Hurts is to win. Obviously, the goal for Jalen Hurts is to play well. But the end-all, be-all for Jalen Hurts, other than taking this team to a Super Bowl, and look, every football player wants to win a Super Bowl. I'm not making it a unique thing for Jalen Hurts. But this is what Jalen Hurts' ultimate goal should be. Be the quarterback next year. The undisputed quarterback next year. The biggest question going into this season, the two biggest questions, one have to revolve around Nick Sirianni. The other has to revolve around Jalen Hurts and whether or not Jalen Hurts can not just be the quarterback, as we've been saying since Carson Wentz was traded, not just be the quarterback for right now, but be the quarterback. Not Mr. Right now, but Mr. Right. I want Jalen Hurts, and I am certainly rooting for Jalen Hurts. And throughout the entire offseason, I've been saying this. This isn't revisionist history. This isn't, one game. Wow, I hope this is what he does. No, this is a good start. And what I want to see from Jalen Hurts from this point on is earn the starter reps for next year and then the year after that. Earn yourself a big, fat, juicy, delicious, huge, ginormous contract and go out there and continue to turn heads, continue to impress, continue to play heads-up, smart, athletic football like every quarterback in the league should be playing like we saw from him yesterday. And I was enjoying the hell out of this game because I felt like for the first time in a long time, I wasn't waiting for the mistake. And I feel like that's really what I've been waiting for and looking at since I've been watching Eagles football with Carson Wentz over the last year and Doug Peterson over the last year. I was waiting for the mistake. I was waiting for something to happen where it all came down on him. But when the defense set the tone of bending but not breaking, I felt pretty good about it. Javon Hargrave, again, playing great. I felt good about it. Seeing Jalen Hurts go down the field and hit DeVonta Smith for the first touchdown of the game, that made me feel pretty good. I mean, hell, your punter, Aaron Cypros, was amazing. Cypros was amazing in this game. 4 punts? 3 of them inside the 20, 2 of those inside the 10. Your punter had me excited. People are going to be talking about a punter today. How do you say his name? Is it Cypros, Cypros, Cypros? How do you say his name? Like, if that's how you spell Aaron. Like, people aren't even talking about the punter with how well he played today. So I look at those 5 guys right there. And I look at them as the key reason they won this football game. But the 2 guys at the top of the list, you look at who I have at number 2 and Nick Sirianni, who I have at number 1, Jalen Hurts. If those guys butcher yesterday's game or even have a mistake or 2 that leads to a loss, oh, man. Can this guy coach? Can this guy play quarterback? How is Gardner Minshew still inactive? Like, that's what we're talking about today. But instead, what are we talking about? We're talking about, all right, want to know first place in the NFC East. That's what we're talking about. Could it have gone better? To echo John McMullen's question one more time. Hey, Nick, could this have gone better? Nope. We'll clean up the penalties. Maybe the defensive line doesn't have a start the way they did, but that's the way you want to see a team start off a season. Basically, aggressive, accurate. Aside from the penalties, you saw some great blocking, fundamentally sound blocking on that rub route that ended up being the DeVonta Smith touchdown from Zach Ertz. You saw DeVonta Smith hold the block on the outside. You saw Miles Sanders run well throughout this game, really. Started to hit a little bit of a wall in that fourth quarter. You saw some of your rookies step up. I already mentioned DeVonta Smith. Mentioned Kenny Gainwell one more time. But overall, Jordan Mailata, the new $64 million man, played a great game at left tackle as well. Had a couple of holds. Yes, he did. But overall, you saw this team play very good football. It goes back to the revision. Let's say this, to look back on it on hindsight. If you're telling me going into this game if I told you before this game, if I said I'm from the future, all right, and I told you that you were going to have a 32-point performance and you were going to hold the team to 6 points, you would have said I was probably crazy. You would have called me a homer. And you know what? I didn't predict that. I predicted that the Eagles would win this game, but I didn't predict that it was going to be a blowout in the way that it was. And from the way the defense held in the first drive, it felt like they still had control. They didn't have control throughout the drive, but at the end of the drive, when they took control and they bent, but they didn't break, that's where I felt like this team had some good things coming. And then you saw Jalen Hurts make some great plays, some great heads-up plays, and throughout the game, you really just saw this team play some pretty good football. And DeVonta Maddox moving back into the inside. Didn't have his best game, but if you look at the stat sheet again, the beach muscles, nine tackles in this game. 6 of them were solo. Alex Singleton, last year's tackles leader, had 8 tackles in this game. I believe only 3 of them were solo, but still, he was always around the football as per usual. Very impressed with what I had to see from this game. Now, I know on Monday you guys are going to be heading into work. I know you guys are going to be talking about how excited you are about this team, and there's going to be one guy, and I just want to warn you guys, this person's going to exist. So if you're on your early morning Zoom call, or you're actually back in the office, I just want to warn you for this one person. You're all around the water cooler. You're all showing up to work. Common space for a minute or two. You see everybody, and everyone's talking about how great Jalen Hurts looked, the game that Nick Sirianni called, how great the team looked in the second half overall against the Falcons, the sack of Matt Ryan where he was left on the field with I think his arm was in like a Z. I think his arm made a Z. The arm's not supposed to make that form. But anyway, and then there's going to be one person that while you're here, let me demonstrate. Here you go. I'll get my cup of coffee, and I'm going to be Joe at the office. Here we go. Everyone's excited. There's excitement all around. Just throw the confetti in the air, sprinkling of excitement, right? And then Joe's going to be like this. You guys know it was only one game, right? Shut up, Joe! Moron! Oh, don't call him a moron. That's not nice. Idiot. Don't call him an idiot. That's not nice. Shut up, Joe! Fun police. Fun police Joe needs to can it today. Fun police Joe needs to back off. This is a game that was a lot of fun to watch. It was the dawn of a new era in Philadelphia. Let us bask in it for a hot minute. Let us enjoy the victory. Everyone knows it's week 1. You don't got to act like the smartest guy in the room and be like, yeah, you know, it's week 1. Shut up, fun police. All right, you could back off. So for that person today, I urge you to just roll your eyes in the most epic fashion imaginable. Shut up, Joe. Joe's a great name, by the way. I have nothing against anybody named Joe. One of my best friends' name's Joe. My dad's Joe. I love Joe. But just this particular, whatever. You're an idiot. Anyway, so I hope you guys have fun. with all that. No guests today. I want to make sure I get a lot of locker room sound in here with you guys because there's so much said in the Eagles locker room after the game. I want to make sure you guys have that at your disposal. So we'll make sure we get that to you coming up in just a second here. Let me tell you, though, about my friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Folks, do what I do. Trust Steven Singer for all your big jewelry purchases, especially with all the money they just raised for the 20th anniversary of 9/11. That's going to go to a beautiful 9/11 memorial. It's a great thing Steven Singer did. I hope you guys took advantage of that. And if you didn't, make sure you take advantage of all the other great stuff that he has going on there at the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right in Philadelphia. Do what I do for all my big jewelry purchases. I got my wedding bands there. My wife's engagement ring. I got that there. Other big gifts. Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. And why do I always go to Steven Singer? For two reasons. One, real jewelry expert. And he treats you like a customer, like a real customer. Not like somebody's just trying to gouge, but he wants to take care of you because he knows you'll come back if you're treated well and you're respected. You know what? He doesn't want you to come in there and feel like you got to negotiate, feel like you got to go through this whole haggling period. No, hey, here's the price. This is the perfect price. It's not marked up for you. So just have a real jewelry expert show you all the inventory and don't worry about, all right, I know how to get a great deal here. No, the great deal is already there at Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, or at IHateStevenSinger.com. IHateStevenSinger.com, always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Had another friend come up to me, as a matter of fact, over the weekend. My wife and I, we got little toots involved in a little soccer, little kicks, whatever they call it. She's 2 years old. She's like kicking a little soccer ball around. And a guy comes up to me and says, hey, come on. you just friends with Steven Singer, or what's the deal? I said, well, yes, I am friends with Steven Singer, but if you're looking for the deal, if you're looking for the hookup, it's every day. And he goes, come on. I go, other corner of the walnut, stevensinger.com. Fast and free shipping. And he's just like, all right, man, all right. And he told me he was looking to get engaged. He and his girl were out there with their little one as well. And I said, hey, man, there's no better place to go to. And I can tell you, into a microphone or face-to-face. Happy to do either. So make sure you do what I do. Trust Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to make sure I get to all this stuff because it was some juicy, spicy meatballs coming out of the locker room yesterday. The overall vibe was, of course, there's going to be a lot of smiles. I mean, I showed you the Greg Ward video of everyone losing their minds in the Eagles locker room after the game, everybody having fun. 1-0, first place in the NFC East. All right, fine. You just won the game. Enjoy the game. Then today, you get the treatment. Tomorrow, you go through film. Wednesday, you go through a walkthrough. Thursday, Friday, practice, whatever. You have time to start thinking about the San Francisco 49ers, who they play 1 o'clock in their home opener on Sunday. So then you look at this particular game, and you just bask in it. You enjoy it. You take it for what it is. Miles Sanders goes out to the podium at the end of the game, and he's like, yeah, like basically his attitude is, can we get done this little press conference thing because I want to get back to the party. Like, you got to love that. You got to respect that because it shows these guys are having fun together. And there were so many different things that went into the chemistry of this team. Yeah, a lot of these guys have been around each other. The offensive line has been around each other a lot, and that's great. But overall, you listen to the first thing about this particular game, which actually came out, I believe it was Sunday morning, and I first saw it from John Clark of NBC Sports Philadelphia when he put out the story about the Eagles having a very intense meeting right before the game, the night before the game, while they're all in Atlanta. And apparently it was emotional. Nick Sirianni got emotional in this game, or in this meeting. He's showing clips of himself in high school, showing movie clips, showing clips of old players and whatnot. And then he asked his team, he said, hey, why don't you guys embrace? Why don't you guys bring it in? Why don't we get a little close? We're family here. Why don't we get a little close? We're a little family here, right? So Lane Johnson was on the postgame show, live postgame show with myself, Derek Gunn, and Devin Caney. And this is what he had to say when it came to the meeting that the team had prior to showing up for the game on Sunday.
You know, he showed some clips of some players. He showed a clip of himself playing basketball back in high school and maybe a game going his way and then persevering and ended up playing the same team again and winning. And then, at the end, he, told everybody to break down, just go around and shake everybody's hand. So that's pretty much what we did for about 5-10 minutes, going around just dabbing everybody up, coaches, players, everybody, and said, man, this is a team. So, it was a cool moment. And, it was unlike, some of the meetings I've had before.
I'll tell you right now, I know a lot of people will always, it's the chemistry stuff doesn't matter. That's high school Harry stuff. One of the things I learned from the Eagles Super Bowl run is sometimes chemistry is the special thing on a football team. It's not necessarily always having the best players. It's not necessarily having the best game plan. A lot of times if you have, and this will sound so high school Harry, but one of the things I learned from that Super Bowl run was if you get guys to unite under a certain message, underdogs, for instance, those guys will play through anything. Whether it's a Hall of Fame left tackle getting hurt, whether it's your starting quarterback who's having an MVP season get hurt, if you have every guy on that roster buy into the same mentality, that's chemistry. That's where you start to overcome a lot of things that no one's expecting you to overcome. Like nobody predicted that the Eagles were going to have a blowout win in week 1. I mean, Marcus Hayes was on with us a week ago, and he said 12 wins, and people were like, wow, what an idiot. And I still think that they could win 9-10 games. And my official prediction yesterday on Twitter, I put it in writing, was a 9-8 season. And it just feels weird to say because of the the 17-game season. But that's what I got them at, 9-8. And they go out yesterday and they get a blowout win. Nobody predicted that. Nobody saw that coming. And yet they did it. You know why? Because that's why they play the games. Because there's other things that go in there than just talent or just being good. A lot of it has to come down to a team playing together, and that's what the Eagles did yesterday. So off to a good start. And the chemistry that Nick Sirianni has kept going, I think, because I think it was still good chemistry under Doug Peterson because that was the best thing that he did. If Nick Sirianni can have the locker room chemistry that Doug Peterson kept in this locker room, and we all got to wait till they face adversity to see how this chemistry really comes together and see how strong it really is. But if he can be that guy that can be that great of a leader and then also at the same time be a good strategist, a good game planner, a good play caller, then wow, that's going to be one hell of a mix. That's going to be one hell of a first-year head coach for the Philadelphia Eagles, so I'm excited about that. Lane also talked about Jalen Hurts while he was on with us in the live post-game show on 6abc.com, as well as Jacob Media YouTube channel as well. Here is Lane Johnson when I asked him about Jalen Hurts and the way he was in the the way he was in the huddle.
Cool, calm, collective. I mean, really, like every time I talk to y'all, it's really change. I mean, really his demeanor, everything stays really consistent, and that's what you need in a quarterback. And you can see, having him back there, it mixes it up for the defense. The guy that can run, that can make plays with his legs. It puts defenses in a debacle. So he did a great job.
I like that, putting him in it gives him quite the debacle. I can't tell you enough how much I just enjoyed this quarterback's performance. But to hear from Lane Johnson that he just was cool in the huddle, calm, collective, as he said, that's what you want. I don't think Lane's ever going to come out and say, man, that guy was frazzled. I don't know what the hell he was doing. He looked terrified the entire time. He looked me in the eyes, and I looked back in his, and there was fear in that man's eyes. He looked like he wanted to run home to mama. No, not in this particular case. On the road, the team is really yours for the first time. See, that's the biggest difference. It's not that he started 4 games before. It's that he started his first game yesterday knowing this was his team, knowing this was his job for the foreseeable future. And what did he do in that opportunity? Did he shrink? Did he make horrible throws? Did he have a lot of instances where you just saw the camera pan back to him after a bad throw and he's just like, man, my bad. Was his body language bad? And I hate reading into body language, but you know what I'm talking about, especially with a quarterback. You can really see that and say, oh, God, that's just not good. And you never saw one instance of that yesterday. You saw on the same page, playing within himself, making sure that the plays he was executing were executed to the best of his ability, and oftentimes they were executed the best possible way. And a lot of that goes down to the preparation, and a lot of that goes down to the quarterback's mindset of just being mentally prepared to step into this football game and make sure he did what he did. And I really can't think of too many things I watched from Jalen Hurts yesterday that made me go, oh, come on, Jalen. Really, it was everything that he did in this game was well within himself. There was not one instance where I went, ooh, that's going to cost you. It was heads up, smart football by your quarterback. And that's the ultimate. That's what you have to ask from every time. And then, not to mention, what was he, 18 of 24 for 264 yards and 3 touchdowns? Come on. You can't ask for much more. And to have your DeVonta Smith, to have your rookie wide receiver out there, your 10th overall pick, that was confident in his ability from Jump Street. His first catch in the NFL is that touchdown. And you listen to him after the game. This is when DeVonta Smith knew he had that touch. By the way, all this post-game sound is brought to you by the great people at Rothman Orthopaedics. Rothman Orthopaedics. Make sure you trust RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. No guest today, as I said. I want to make sure I get all this great locker room sound into you guys, and this is going to be our guest today because I want you guys to hear the behind-the-scenes stuff that went on after the game. Here is DeVonta Smith talking about when he knew he had that touchdown for 7 points to put the Eagles up.
When I seen it was man, we repped it a lot. When I seen it was man, I just knew, just because all the repetition that we did, that it was going
that you were going to score that touchdown. And when he says, hey, when did you know you were going to score that touchdown? When I saw his man coverage. He sees a man lined up in man-to-man coverage. He knows that he's going to get that rub route from Zach Ertz. He knows it's a touchdown. And here's the other thing. Even if there wasn't a rub route in there, I'm pretty sure DeVonta Smith's getting open. Because you talk about that 4.4 speed, whatever. I was not that fast. Well, how about the quickness? How about the agility? How about being able to throw a juke in there where you could get that foot of space from the defensive back and make sure you can get downfield, make sure you can get upfield to make that play. And credit to Jalen Hurts, man. That play was there for the taking. And I can't go back to this enough. How used to watching the mistake or waiting for the mistake I got last year. And throughout this game, after the defense came up and bent but didn't break in the first half, as I said before, I felt like they were going to do anything they could to right this ship, and I wasn't feeling like I was waiting for the mistake anymore. I simply waited for the next big play. I waited for the next exciting play. And when I saw that touchdown pass from Jalen Hurts to DeVonta Smith, and then watched how it was executed on the replay as well, I thought, wait, maybe you really don't need the preseason. Maybe you see all the penalties that you had and you go, all right, okay, preseason, definitely do that. Maybe a little bit more work together. That'd be nice. But ultimately, when you watch this offense execute the plays, they executed them to perfection. And when they ran that play, as DeVonta Smith was saying just there, because they had ran it so many times in practice, they knew what they were going to be getting out of all that. That's a really remarkable thing, to just know it like the back of your hand already. Jalen Hurts had been criticized in the past with not knowing the playbook. It certainly looked like yesterday he knew the playbook pretty well. Pretty well. Speaking of Jalen Hurts, he addressed the media after the game as well. And one of the things that he got into, and I thought this was interesting, friend of the show, Mike K, came out and asked him a question that is a totally legitimate question. Every coach should coach to a player's skill set. But what I never thought of was the, for lack of a better term, offense that a player can take when you try to put them in a box and say, this is your skill set, this isn't your skill set. When you highlight a skill set, what you're doing is saying you can't do these other things well enough to do, this is your comfort zone, this is what you're good at, and over here, that's the stuff that you still should pretty work on. So here's your skill set, and then over everything else over there is, maybe we shouldn't put you in those situations. So Jalen Hurts gets asked a question about his skill set, about his head coach and play caller calling plays that benefit his skill set. And listen to how Jalen Hurts, just tell me in the comments if you get the same kind of vibe that I get here. Take a listen to this.
I really don't know what the skill set question is. Whatever it is, I just want to execute it. I feel like we just want to execute whatever it is.
Like, am I crazy? You see the look on his face if you're watching and you're listening. You can kind of hear the dumbfoundedness, if that's a word. I'm sorry, skill set. Can you run that skill set? So I think what he's thinking is, wait a minute, hold on. What's not my skill set? I'm an NFL quarterback. I'm an athletic NFL quarterback who also makes heads-up smart plays. What's outside of my range there? I don't really understand the question, more or less. As the kids say, that guy drips. I don't know if they still say that or not. It's been a while since I've been a kid. But anyway, really just overall impressed with everything that he had to offer in last night's game. I do want to let you hear also from Brandon Graham, because I do want to talk about the defensive side of things. I highlighted earlier in the show that the 3-4 defensive fronts, I knew we weren't going to see a strict 4-3. We had talked about that leading up to the game. We weren't going to see a strict 4-3 type of defense. But I couldn't believe how many times, and I'm curious when the numbers come out, how many times they lined up in a 3-4 defensive front when they did have Derek Barnett standing up. They only had 3 guys with their hands in the dirt. That was odd to me. And a lot of times you saw Javon Hargrave, and the play I keep going back to, in the 3rd and goal situation that they ended up breaking up. He was a nose tackle, essentially, in that play. And he still blew it up, which was awesome. But Brandon Graham said they acknowledged that they needed to be better at what they saw, or what we saw when it came to the 3-4 fronts. Here's Brandon Graham on that postgame.
We knew that was something that we're going to have to get better with. We knew that, obviously, we love the 4-down look as a defense line, but we know that we got to do both. And so we just got to continue to keep on going upward and working to get better with that scheme of it.
We all can agree on that. Let's all agree to agree on that. It was ugly, especially in that first half. And they didn't really deviate from it much in the second half. They still had a lot of the 3-4 fronts. I'd like to see, again, the numbers and how many times they ran in the first half versus the second half, because it felt like they called it less, or they lined up less like that in the second half. But what I did definitely notice in the second half was a lot more of the 8-man in the box. They said, all right, we're going to take away this run. Matt Ryan, try to have at it. And you saw Calvin Ridley, by the way, disappear for a long time. And I think that's one of the things that went into that, seeing a lot of the 3-4 fronts, was that Calvin Ridley was like catch, 20 yards, 5 yards, whatever, just dink and dunk, getting you down the field. But defensively speaking, I think that's when you saw the adjustment to try to take away that passing game from Matt Ryan. And then you saw guys like Mike Davis start to run the ball down your throat. Cordarrelle Patterson, for crying out loud, had a huge, 4th down conversion in the 3rd quarter of this game. And I'm thinking, what the hell is he doing running between the tackles? Yeah, and you missed a couple of tackles along the way with him as well. But there was a couple of different plays in that game where you just looked at him and went, what? I'm sorry, huh? He's running between the tackles now? A guy that's the return guy from 10 years ago with the Minnesota Vikings doing it? Come on, So those were a couple of things that were a little disappointing in the game. But again, they made the adjustment. They started stacking the box, and they started taking away those big runs. And you know what they did when they took away those big runs? They put more pressure on Matt Ryan. No mistake, that's when you saw the 2 sacks from Javon Hargrave in the second half because of the adjustments made by Jonathan Gannon. And that was great. One of the other things that Brandon Graham, I don't have the clip for you, but I just want to tell you about it. One of the other things Brandon Graham said that I thought was interesting, and I made this point in the post-game show last night. Remember that Nick Sirianni introductory press conference? Yeah, neither do I. Brandon Graham talked about that after the game last night. He said that Nick Sirianni has been the same guy since he got here, which is okay, good. He came in a certain way. He came in with a certain aura, with a certain delivery, with a certain attitude, and he is stuck to it. That's who the guy is. Whether it's a guy wearing T-shirts with Brandon Graham on it, or Miles Sanders on it, or Reggie White on it, whoever it might be, he's still that guy. Or it's the guy that's learning somebody's alma mater from high school just to make a connection, like he did with Miles Sanders, just to make a connection with a player. Or, as we'll hear from Nick Sirianni in a minute, having a special handshake with a certain player. All that stuff is stuff that he came into the game with, came into the facility at NovaCare with. That's all the stuff he came into it that you just love to see. But he said that one of the things he said that Nick Sirianni kept on preaching about was his introductory press conference. And he's like, look, people are going to be tough on you when you're playing football, especially in a city like Philadelphia where they eat, sleep, and breathe everything that the Eagles have to offer. And what did Nick Sirianni come out and say? He said that people were killing him. This is what Brandon Graham said after the game. Nick Sirianni highlighted that people were attacking him after his introductory press conference. And hey, look, not for nothing. Let's be real. So was I. I thought that was a horrendous press conference. And Doug Peterson, in his first press conference, he owned the room, man. And he won a Super Bowl. So that's a nice model to look up to. Nick Sirianni was nervous Nicky in that press conference. Yesterday, he was Nicky Big Cojones, if you know what I'm saying. Even calling for the 2 fourth-down conversion attempts, which they failed miserably on. But, hey, at least he went for him. At least we know he's going to go for him, and I didn't really disagree with any of the situations that he called to go for it on 4th down. I maybe disagree with the play call. It didn't seem like the best designed play calls in the world. However, when it came to actually calling the play, at least we know he's going to go for it occasionally on 4th down, so I didn't have a problem. But ultimately, I like the idea of the coach using himself as an example. Hey, look, you guys are getting ripped in the media. No one's really expecting a lot from you. Look at my introductory press conference. People were coming in hot with the piping hot takes on me. And what did we do? We went out, we won week 1. We're going to go out and we're going to win week 1. We're going to go out there and we're going to show a lot of people just how good we can be. I like that. Coach puts himself out there. And I don't know too many people. And look, if they would have lost game 1, I can't say it enough. 2 people would have been under fire. Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. Can this era really work? What's Howie Roseman thinking? This guy's just a yes man to the front office and the upper management and the owner. Yesterday, you know what he looked like? He looked like a pretty damn good football coach. 1-0 for Joe at the office again. Let me just give you Joe one more time. You know, it's only 1 game, right? Fun police. And Joe's the sheriff. So that's what you saw throughout the game yesterday. One more thing on the chemistry. I just saw myself in my little monitor here do the Joe face, the fun police face, and that ain't pretty. Sorry, folks. Nick Sirianni. So they get the second touchdown pass of the game. Jalen Hurts goes trotting off to the sideline, and the camera does a great job. I thought Fox had a good broadcast yesterday for the most part. I actually really like Kevin Burkhardt. I think Kevin Burkhardt's great. There was like one rip of Philly that he had, I think, a couple last year, and I was like, "Oh, Kevin, no, don't do me dirty." But overall, I think he does a good game. And I thought Greg Olsen was good too. But one of the things that I really liked about yesterday's game was the camera shot they got of Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni doing the handshake. Nick Sirianni was asked by, I believe, Jamie Upodi of 6ABC about that handshake, and here's the origin of the Jalen Hurts Nick Sirianni handshake.
Well, that is my son and I's handshake, to be honest with you. And, you know, as Jalen and I got closer throughout there, I told him that, and I said, hey, this is my son and I's handshake, and we started doing it. We had fun with it. We did it last night before the meetings, and then it was fun to do that in the game. Again, like I said, like when you're in there celebrating with somebody, and you're going through and you're having those emotions mean even more when you're close with that person. So that was fun. That was special. My son doesn't mind. He's just a young boy, so he doesn't mind that we share that handshake. So it's my son, myself, and Jalen's handshake now.
I don't think his son would mind having that on loan with a starting quarterback in the NFL. Because you know what that means? That means his son and Jalen Hurts can have a handshake now too. Think about that. Overall, just totally impressed with everything I saw yesterday. And look, we can talk about the penalties. We can talk about the first half, but the first half led to the second half adjustments made by the defense. So, again, there's no reason to play fun police today. We all know what was at stake. Before we get to our social media check-in and our morning rush, let's get into the people of Rothman Orthopaedics. I was at a wedding over the weekend. You know what my cousin came over to me and said? My cousin Jason says to me, he goes, hey, let me tell you, when did you start doing stuff with Rothman? I go, a couple of months ago. Why? He goes, I love Rothman. Rothman fixed my shoulder. My man's a painter, and he's physical labor, so he needs his shoulder. He went to see the people of Rothman Orthopaedics to hook him up, and guess what? They did just that. He is back to 100%, back in game day shape to paint them walls and those the things that he paints. When you have an orthopedic issue, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, and breathes orthopedics. You need an exceptionally specialized Rothman Orthopaedics physician. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physicians only focuses in on one area of the body, which means you can have the confidence to get past the pain and be what you were. Visit them in one of their 30-plus locations in PA or New Jersey, that is, including 4 orthopedic-only urgent cares. Learn more at rothmanortho.com. I'm laughing because when my cousin Jason was telling me at the table at the wedding, congratulations, my cousin Ronnie, my new cousin-in-law Chris. You look beautiful. You guys are awesome. Congratulations. I was an officiant, by the way. I had a packed weekend. I'll tell you about it in our morning rush segment. But anyway, my wife goes, wait, where'd he go? And I said, Rothman Orthopaedics. You know, they have over 30 locations in the Philadelphia, New Jersey area. Anyway, so he really enjoyed Rothman and all that. People, I hope you made some money yesterday. I hope you made some money. And I hope you made some money by using BetQL. If you want to get the edge over your sportsbook, download the BetQL app, the only app you'll need to make the smart bets. Their best bets computer model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year to give you the best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports, and it gives you the reasoning behind why you should place the bet. Their model covers everything from spreads, over-unders, player props, everything. Don't want to use a model that they have for you? You prefer to do your own research? BetQL has all the necessary tools for betting research needs. I even use it on this show for a little research as well. Everything from sharp data, as well as line movement, team summaries, lineup, injury, breaking news, all that stuff. You want to make sure you're using BetQL. Download the app in the App Store or Google Play Store now. Download the app at BetQL. Also, Steak in Maine. I got to tell you guys. Been telling you about the cannolis. They're going to do the cannoli contest, or not contest. They're going to just give away 10,000 free cannoli. They had to cancel, unfortunately. They had to back out, so it's not going to be happening. But I'll tell you, we can do it if you're hungry. You go to Steak in Maine in Northeast Maryland and treat yourself to a 2-pound tomahawk steak and a nice Pinot Noir from Cavada Cellars Wines. The place is just phenomenal. Whether you dine in their more upscale steakhouse, their casual bar, or their patio, you'll enjoy the highest quality of prime meats, fresh seafood, world-class oyster bar, and freshly prepared sushi. All that with the extensive wine list, including their own Cavada Cellars Wines, open every day for lunch, dinner. They also have Sunday brunch. Steak in Maine, Northeast Maryland, voted #1 place for steaks in this great nation by the Travel Channel and the Cooking Channel. Check it out for yourself. Go to steakandmaine.com. Let me tell you about WinView, the only game where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all of who's the biggest sports fan. Have those friends and family members that think they know everything. I know what you're thinking. I'm not one of them in my family. I defer to my family. I got nothing. You can play them in WinView contests and make sure they not just talk the talk, but walk the walk. If you want to break up the monotony of family dinners, get-togethers, and all that, my cousin Jason, all the way, you had a shoulder operated on. Guess what? He's also a damn Yankee fan. He's from up that way. You know what? He's my cousin-in-law, so I don't want to take too much ownership, right? But you can also play guys like that, the cousins-in-law from different parts of the world that ready to root for teams that you hate, like the Yankees, for instance. But make sure those family dinners are actually a little bit more lively by using this incredible WinView app. Play during a quarter of Monday Night Football, or you can have a little skin in the game with it as well. Perfect way to add an extra layer of competition to your fantasy league as well. I need about 25 points from Justin Tucker tonight. That's all. That's all. Want to tell you also about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across social media and blogs. PHL Sports Nation, make sure you're following them for Eagles Nation as well throughout the entire football season. Let's get into our social media check-in brought to you by Steak and Maine and steakandmaine.com. Steakandmaine.com. Okay, this is the first thing I'm seeing, and Ross, I'm just going to say it. This is probably the most offensive thing I've ever seen on the Twitterverse, on YouTube, on anything. Most offensive thing. Ross Jennings says, Farzy gets his steak well done. How dare you, sir? How dare you? I'm a medium guy. Medium. More on the rare side than the well done side, but I'm a medium guy, like a medium steak. That's where I'm at right there. And I eat everything. I don't waste a damn bite. Gristle, fat, I eat it all, especially with a nice Pinot Noir of Cavada Cellars Wines at Steak and Maine at steakandmaine.com. Anyway, let's get to the top of the list, see all you fine people that are here today. Oh, Dan Schwartz, let's go. Super Bowl, baby. Yeah, I like it. Trevor saying Victory Monday feeling. Yeah, damn right. Dan, we will get to the Phillies. I'll mention the Phillies more than just mentioning the Phillies. Inside the Birds, checking in. Big win. You're damn right. By the way, I saw Jeff Mosher. He had a quote that was out there on the Inside the Birds social media, and I swear him and I were on the same wavelength. I said the same thing. When it came to the variety of plays you saw called by Nick Sirianni, it gave you a lot of confidence in what can happen going forward. Because the latter stages of Andy Reid, Chip Kelly, and also Doug Peterson, a lot of times we heard the same thing, predictability. This is predictable. This is what they're going to do next. This is what they're going to do next. Everything was predictable. With this offense, it was like, hold on a second. They got two backs split out in the backfield, like almost as tight ends. What? Another bubble screen? They got a bubble screen going? They got 3 straight bubble screens, but they're still going to one or the other side? That should be predictable, but it wasn't in this game. Jalen Hurts rolling out of the pocket. Jalen Hurts climbing the pocket, the rare occasion that he did. Didn't really do a lot of climbing the pocket. There was one time he did where he hit Jalen Reagor for, I believe, about a 10 or 15-yard gain, and it looked great. It was a great play. But there was just so many, 2 tight end sets, 1 tight end set, 2 running backs. Like, there was a lot of 21 personnel, 12 personnel. There was a lot of variety in this offensive game plan. Seams being run, rub routes being run, cross patterns being run. There was everything was thrown out there. At least that's what you thought. And then again, I let you hear from Lane Johnson. He said we didn't even get to the beginning of the playbook. And then Nick Sirianni said, hey, look, this is just week 1. We're just getting started. So they got a lot more going on in this offense. Look forward to seeing those plays. Broads, what's up, homie? Good to see you, bro. Saw Broads at a hockey tournament over the weekend. That's what I'll get to. And I'll just say this. Damn, am I sore. Damn, am I sore. Ronald's checking in saying, what a win. Dan says, yes, Ronald. Great. Not as great as PJ producing a Monday morning, but close. Benny's checking in. How pissed do we think Sealski is today? Well, you did it. Now you've done it. Now you've done it, folks.
Dan and everybody in the chat, I am not an animal.
Benny! What's up, Benny? Welcome to the show. Nice to see you. Gabe's in here. Julian, what's up? Julian. Benny! This chat is a happy family. T-Bro, Trevor says MVP. T-Bro says, no big money, Mulata. My Lotta, what are you talking about? No big money. A lot of big money. Oh, being in my top 5. No, because of the penalties. And I love Jordan Mailata. What else do we got here? Yo, those punts were fire. I'm going to tell you right now, this punter, man. Remember Donnie Donkey Leg Jones? Cyprod's a fan of this guy. As soon as I learn how to say his name correctly, I'll be really excited. No one predicted this. Ronald, you're absolutely right. No one predicted this. All right. I'm going to butcher this name, but it's a new name in the chat, so I have to acknowledge it. Stuyvesant? Stuyvesant. Christian. Stuyvesant Christian. Did I get it? Anyway, I don't know if that's I assume that's a male name. They just said LOL, but I had to say their name right because it's the first time I ever seen him. April, what's up, April? Matty Ice look like a chalk outline. That's one of my favorite pictures that's out there. T-Bro saying Joe equals Karen. That's a great point. No. Who's the equivalent? Who's the male equivalent to Karen? Is it Chad? I believe there's a male equivalent to Karen that you call a woman Karen and you call a man Chad. Is it? I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. Trevor just says, "Shut up, Joe." Could it be more? You should have "Shut Up, Joe" as a regular post-game segment about something haters are going to say about the game. Oh, I'm thinking I am. It just kind of felt right. My only detractor from it, again, is my dad's name's Joe. And my dad, if he ever hears me talk about him, like right now, if I'm talking about my dad, I'll get a call like 20 minutes after the show. Hey, I heard you were talking about me. My friend called me and said you were talking about me. Yeah. What were you saying about me? How much I love you, Dad. How much you did a great job raising me. That's not what I heard. And then he'll hang up. I swear that's my dad. I love it. That's what he does. Trevor says, I live in Virginia, so got to be prepared to hear that all day. What? The Eagles aren't that good? Whatever. Dan says, still great to have Eagle support in Virginia. Set him straight, Trev. Trev, go get him, bro. Go get him. You have my full support. April, people in Washington need to talk about it was raining actual crap during the game. That's in my morning rush. That's a good time. Nate Simone says, Larry Farzetta? Why am I Larry? Luigi, laugh my ass off. Why are we laughing my ass off at that? Or your ass off at that? Why is your ass off at laughing with this? Anyway, Benny saying, F. Sealski, don't put me in a box. What's in the box? Nothing. Mark, you match Jalen's outfit at every press conference. Do I have that? I think I have a clip of that. I was going to save it for the morning rush, but to hell with it. Here it is. This guy was so chill, he wore his PJs after the game. You can't tell me those aren't pajamas. Those are pajamas. I don't know. Oh, no, actually, they're Gucci. No, I don't know. They're Louis Vuitton. No, they are not. They are. Does Louis Vuitton make clothes or just bags? I don't even know. You can't tell me those aren't PJs, bro. Those are PJs. And you know what? I don't give a damn. Wherever the hell you want, man. Wherever the hell you want. But these PJs, those are some Ebenezer Scrooge looking like stuff. He's out there with a candle looking for the ghost of Christmas past. That's what it looked like to me. Farzy was playing some street hockey. It looked like, Luigi, you got me. You got me. I was out there with the Nasty Knuckles boys playing some street hockey. It was ball hockey, which I did not grow up playing. I grew up playing roller hockey with a ball, but on foot is ball hockey. And that's me coming out of retirement after like 17 years of not playing any type of hockey. And my buddies and I, my buddy Joey Brennan, my buddy Ryan Bennett, and a lot of Sean Casey, all those guys, we all grew up, Andy Campbell, we all grew up playing a lot of hockey together at Burpee Park in Doylestown. And if you're familiar, here I go down to my childhood here. But here's one of the things. There was an old tennis court that wasn't fenced in all the way. It was about 3/4 of the way fenced in, but we played a lot of hockey on the old tennis court at Burpee Park. Now they fenced it all in. So, of course, now that we're too old to play there, they've done everything to fence it in. And it looks great. It's a great park now. It's not that it was ever a bad park, but this particular thing. But we played a lot of hockey there. We go to Nuts Plus in Doylestown. We go to a place that's now called Coach's that used to be called Hornburgers. And we'd pick up Rosenberger's iced tea, go to Nuts Plus, buy like a whole like box of Snickers bars. And then we play hockey for like 6 hours. And that was our day. It was the greatest thing ever. And that's what we ate and drank the entire time. But then I came out of retirement for Nasty Knuckles and their incredible hockey tournament that they had. I met the guys from the Warriors, the Flyers Warriors. That was a great thing. It's very special to meet them on 9/11, especially. For those that don't know, it's a hockey team that consists of veterans that also have a honorable discharge and I believe are on 10% disability, excuse me. If that's wrong, but bottom line is they're veterans, and we owe them our thanks for their service, no question. And I owe them even more thanks to my man Jim on the Warriors that constantly gave me his helmet and his hockey stick and his shin guards because I didn't know I need any of that stuff. I honestly thought I was going to show up and I was going to play one game and tip my helmet to the crowd, and walk off with Riley Cote and Nasty himself. But that wasn't the case at all. That was not the case at all. We played 4 games that were 20 minutes each, and we played with no bench practically. I haven't worked out in I don't know how long. I've lifted weights, but that doesn't count. I haven't done cardio. My legs are so freaking sore. Derek told me, Nasty tells me, take an ice. Yo, Farzy, take an ice bath when you get home. Take an ice bath, man. And I'm like, I've never taken an ice bath. He goes, just take an ice bath. It'll feel great. I stopped at the beer distributor up the street from me. I got a big old bag of ice. I called my wife. I said, Toots, I need the bathtub filled up. She filled up the bathtub for me. God bless her. And I got home with I said cold water. And I got home and I crushed the bag of ice, big, giant, ginormous thing of ice, threw it in there, jumped in the tub. Oh, but I was able to move around the next day. Guarantee I wouldn't be able to if I wasn't. Luigi, thanks for acknowledging that. I just worked it in there right there. Hell of a game. Go Birds. D-Rex says that. April, we all have crappy press conferences. He can have all the crappy press conferences he wants if he calls plays like that. I'm with you 100%. Thomas is in here. Does my dad suck? I didn't have a shared handshake with him. And an NFL player. Thomas, good point. Good point. Sealski has a handshake with his son. Luigi, why you got to do that? Fars also missed it. Was going to do a pod, but I'm here. Oh, you were doing the pod today, Dante. Welcome to the show, my friend. Welcome to the potty, pal. Dan's checking in. We're talking about any Weather Girl. Weather Girl's really on a Victory Monday. For those that are just joining us occasionally, okay, one time we had a Weather Girl on the show. Andrew says physical specimen. Dan says, wow. Your dad is a Joe? I know I'm a little behind, but wow. Joseph is checking in. Another Schwartz. Is your Schwartz as big as mine? Or as big as Dan's? Joseph, how about the offensive line? Some big plays with Kelsey. Oh, thank you for highlighting that. Yes, definitely. Jason Kelsey, that big run by Miles Sanders in the third quarter, just picking up human beings and removing them from existence. That's what Jason Kelsey was doing on that run. Multiple guys. You even saw Miles Sanders be like, no, keep going, like pushing him from behind. And Jason Kelsey was just owning people. It was just fantastic. Yeah, Mac, there were 20. Okay, Mac. Okay. All right. There were 10-minute halves. And if you haven't done cardio since the 8th grade, like me, it was a lot. Especially if, I didn't play ball hockey or foot hockey. I played roller hockey. We were on blades. We were on rollerblades. And I enjoyed that. That was great. But, man, there was one play in the third game we played where I got the ball around on the boards at our offensive zone blue line. And I had one person to beat. And I made a move. I made the move. And all I had to do was run after the ball. And my legs just went, nope, you're done. You're done. And my legs just locked. I'm not kidding with you. My calves were done. They were just like, you need to stop, you old bastard. You haven't played anything like this in a long time. And I feel like every couple of years I play like a real hardcore athletic event where I try to reach back in the old bag of tricks. And guess what? It's not there. The old bag of tricks. It's there, but it's pretty empty. I did score a goal. I did score one. I scored 3 goals, one on a deflection, one on a wrist shot, the other on a beautiful right on the tape pass from Nasty, who kind of noticed how tired I was. And it was like, Farzy, just go to the net. Farzy, go to the net. Farzy, just go to the net. And guess what? I went to the net, and I just kept my stick on the ice. Nasty came down the side and just was waiting for the right moment, put it right on the tape of my stick. Bam, one-timer right in the net. It was perfect. Perfectly executed. Any idiot, I'm not saying I'm good. I'm saying any idiot could have scored this goal. No question. So I'm feeling pretty good, right? I'm feeling pretty good. I had a play around the boards where the guy wrapped his stick around my neck, but he was a little shorter than me, so I knew I had the leverage. So I just stood up and pinned his stick on my neck, but it looked like I was hurt, so the ref wouldn't call it. And then I centered it. Goal. I even got an apple. How about that? And so anyway, as they say in the movie Airborne, I'm a hockey man, I'm a hockey warrior. So we got the goal on that one, and we ended up going to the playoffs, and we lost in overtime. How did we lose in overtime? So I'm an idiot, and I basically screened my own goalie, and the guy took a wrist shot from the blue line. I tried to block it. It deflected off my stick and right in. It wouldn't be as bad if not for the goalie telling me before the play happened, get out of my way, you're screening me. And it registered, but because my legs were dead, that was as fast as I could go to try to move out of the way. And just as I was moving out of the way, shot came from the point. and deflected off my stick and in. And the goalie that was playing for us was really upset about it. And I said, dude, on me, 100%. I take full responsibility. I was in a bad spot. I heard you. I was trying to get out of the way. And I ended on that note. So I literally will lose sleep over that and have already lost sleep over that. But thanks to the Nasty Knuckles guys for inviting me in to play. It was a great time. Oh, and you know who I met? Oh, producer Jim. I met your lovely lady, Olivia. Beautiful girl. Lovely girl. Good kid, that kid. Anyway, so it was a great time. Nasty Knuckles put on a great tournament. I had so much fun. I feel like crap right now, but if it wasn't for the ice bath, I literally wouldn't be able to do the show because I wouldn't be able to make it to the Steven Singer Studios. But anyway, thanks everybody for checking out the Nasty Knuckles show or Nasty Knuckles podcast and tournament. If you guys did, that's awesome. Oh, Max says, JK, I'd die in 14 seconds. I thought I was going to die. Oh, good. I'm glad I started a quote off in Spaceballs. Podcast Fly Eagles Fly. They were halves. Ugh. The thing's good. Football, Schwartz football. My goodness gracious. In a matter of Joe, the JK, 14 seconds. So the draft seemed to work. Go Birds. You're right, Dom. It did. Absolutely, Dom. The draft did work for the Eagles. It looked pretty good. Kenny Gainwell, Milton Williams, DeVonta Smith, looking pretty good. How's it with a huge wow. How's he know I have a huge Schwartz? If you haven't seen the movie Spaceballs, it's from the 80s. It's even like before my time. Enjoy the hell out of it. Go watch Spaceballs. If you're lucky, he didn't hit you with his stick. I didn't. Yeah, correct. I was waiting for like somebody to do something that I would totally regret. Like anytime I went into the boards, I'm like, no one's going to check me, right? And nobody did, really. One guy did, again, wrap that stick around my neck, and I was able to use it to my advantage and get the goal. But again, I allowed a game-winning goal in overtime when we lost in the playoffs because of me. I take full responsibility. Anyway, thanks everyone that checked in our social media check-in brought to you by Steak and Maine and steakandmaine.com. Now it's time for our morning rush. Morning rush is a very simple morning rush, very easy morning rush. I already showed you the picture of Ebenezer Scrooge, who won the game for you yesterday in his PJs. He just needs a little hat. There'd be a really little thing up there. That's cool. Phillies suck at baseball. They lose 3 out of 4 to the Rockies. Bryce Harper says they're embarrassed with the way they played at home, and you're damn right you should be. And then on top of that, the Phillies have also lost 7 of their last 10, 4.5 games out of first place. Only a half game up on the New York Metropolitans, which sucks. But that's where they're at, and that's where they're at right now. That's your morning rush, brought to you by Sky Motorcars and SkyMotorcars.com. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what we're going to hear from tomorrow on a Hughes Day. Hugh Lamont Douglas III, also known as Eagle Great, Hugh Douglas, also known as he likes to be called, Black Angus, also known as, and more importantly, for purposes of this timing, Atlanta media member, Atlanta radio host, Hugh Lamont Douglas III will join us tomorrow. Talk about how much they're crying in Atlanta right now. April, you mentioned this, so I want to make sure I touch on this. Folks, if you haven't seen the video on the old internet yet of it actually raining sewage in Washington yesterday at FedEx Field, you need to check it out. 2 videos you need to see. One is the cat that was dangling from the upper deck of the college football game that was caught by a fan. That was incredible. The cat at the stadium was dangling from the upper area and fell almost to its death until a fan caught it. I think they actually used an American, I don't want to say it was an American flag, I think it was, but they used a flag to help catch the cat, and then somebody caught it and then raised it. The cat was fine. So there you go. The other was the raining sewage at FedEx Field. And I have told you time and time again, as someone who's been to that stadium a million times, 2 things about that stadium. One, it's the second hardest stadium to try to get the hell out of, because there's like one road. The worst stadium to try to get out of, without question, is Foxborough, is Gillette Stadium, because they have like one dirt road leading to one highway, like a bunch of idiots. Anyway, but FedEx Field is definitely second. But it smells like crap. The other thing I can tell you, it literally smells like poop. And yesterday, there was more poop. It was actually raining sewage on one of the sections from the upper deck to the lower deck. And fans are yelling, "It's sewage!" If you haven't seen this footage yet, it's spectacular, actually. I hope nobody got sick. But the Washington football team lost. Ryan Fitzpatrick got hurt. But bottom line is everyone else is 0-1. The Eagles are 1-0, so that makes them in first place during the 17-game season. So that makes you feel good about life. Thanks for watching, everybody. They definitely use the flag. Laugh out loud. It is down to 8 lives now for that cat. April, that is an astute observation. Yep. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I had a blast with you guys. One last thing. We talked about this on Friday. I want to make sure you guys see this one more time because you can still donate to this great cause. If you go down my timeline on Twitter, you can find the PayPal account for protecting our parks. October 16th, Police versus YMCA basketball game, Northeast Philadelphia YMCA. That's 11088 11088 Knights Road, Philadelphia, PA, protectingourparks.com. If you want to help out, make sure you check out that website, check out the PayPal, and donate. They're trying to get to $5,000. And you know what? Go ahead and at Adam Sandler. See if he'll just pay for all this. That'd be cool. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Go Birds, baby. 1-0. My thanks to Jim Hyden for producing the program and the lovely Olivia, who probably hears me in the other room while we're doing this show. Thank you very much. Jim Hyden produced the program, did a great job. This is a Buzz Sports and Entertainment production. My thanks to everyone for listening, for watching. 1-0, baby. Great way to start it out. We'll be back with you guys tomorrow. Make sure you guys click subscribe on our YouTube page and wherever you get your podcasts as well. Hugh Lamont Douglas III will be joining us tomorrow morning for a happy Hughes Day. Everyone, have a great rest of your Monday. Go Birds. Take it easy.